And listen, thanks very much for coming along and lending your time to the EMS gathering. I believe you were here last year as well, at 2016 we were down in Killarney.
I was here 2 years ago. I didn't make it down last year. The last time I was here I was climbing a mountain and teaching about CRM on Torque Hill. The weather was nice then, played well again today, so I was teaching the same stuff in a nautical as opposed to a mountain environment this time.
Well, great stuff, and your work is ongoing at the moment with Medevac 112. Interesting operation for yourself?
Fantastic, and probably one of the most fulfilling operations I've ever done. I've flown police aviation before, search and rescue, and now with the EAS, working with the National Ambulance Service, immersed in the crossover between aviation and medicine. Had an opportunity to learn a lot from the guys in the advanced paramedics, and I've also had an opportunity to pass on some of the skills from aviation to those guys, and that's what we were doing today. We were teaching crew resource management, which is it's an aviation skill on how to safely operate with a team efficiently and in the best team dynamic, and that's what I was teaching today. So having previously taught it to advanced paramedics in the EAS, I had the opportunity today to teach it to a wide range of people from different medical backgrounds.
Crew resource management seems to have taken off, like it's the new black, it's the new buzzword. It's been going for the last 2 or 3 years. Lessons from aviation, checklists, so on and so forth. In your day-to-day basis on Medevac 112, how do you implement what you teach in crew resource management? How do you implement that on a day-to-day basis?
Well, you're right, CRM and lessons from aviation has become a bit faddish. But that's not to say there isn't significant lessons to be learned from aviation, and the reason being is we both operate in kind of high consequence environments. We both operate where if we make a mistake, lives are at stake. So it's not just a simple thing to walk away from. And in aviation, we've learned over the years how to operate and learn from our mistakes, how to embrace error, and how to get better while mitigating against error and managing risk on a continuous basis. So with CRM, it gives you the skills, and it's a lifelong skill. It's not something you learn on a boat in an hour, which I tried to pass on to them, and it's not something you can learn in a classroom. You learn the initial theory of it in a classroom, but where CRM is honed as a skill is on the road in an ambulance, and in my case in the air in a helicopter. It's something that runs through, it's a vein that runs through our work, and it's a benchmark against how well we do on a job. Was the job a success? Was it a failure? Well, we may have got the patient to hospital in time, but perhaps we could have done it better. It opens up a dialogue between the crew about, yes, we did this, it was okay, it could have been better. So it's basically about being able to put ego to the side and put the patient first for the advanced, in the case of paramedics, and putting safety first for the case of pilots.
So reflection is key, post-event reflection.
Correct.
Going back over it, the no blame culture, and it's what it's needed. And as I say, from my own personal experience of crew resource management, checklists have become a part daily, even when we're carrying out different tasks and different procedures during the day. So Phil, tell us, Room 101, crew resource management for dummies, where do we go? Give us a couple of pointers on it if you could.
Okay, that's what I was trying to do today, Glenn, with the guys on the boat, that we don't have time to cover them all. There's 21 in total, but we covered 4 big ones, and that's leadership, decision making, communications, and situational awareness. We take these things for granted, and CRM can generally be synopsized as being common sense. But the thing about common sense is, in a stressful situation, be it with a patient or an aircraft or any environment, be it in the nuclear industry, the petrochemical industry, in a stressful situation, our ability to think logically and in sequence is prohibited by your bandwidth, is what we call it, and your ability to manage workload is part of that. So in a stressful situation, your ability to communicate properly, even though you may think it's perfect, it's often flawed. Per communication leads to per situational awareness, and situational awareness is where I am now and what's going to happen next. It's the wood from the trees. Mm-hmm. And again, that's something that's lost in a stressful situation. People are fixated on small issues, they get tunnel vision, and they can't see the very things that are going to help them out of that situation. Per leadership then, as a result of not having good communication and not setting good leadership practices such as flattening hierarchies and empowering the more junior people amongst your team to speak up, because they might have the solution to the problem you're in. So leadership will lead to good leadership, good situational awareness, and good communication will lead to good decision making. And decision making in the context of looking after patients is the right care at the right time, and for us in aviation, it's doing the right thing at the right time in stressful environments. So while you're sitting by your fireside thinking about these issues, it seems like common sense, but in a stressful situation like an aircraft emergency or a patient who's going downhill rather rapidly, CRM gives you the skills to fall back on, to realise I'm being trapped by certain cognitive functions, and gives me a way out of that trap for the patient, in my case of the aircraft, and in case of you guys for the patient safety. So the key message ultimately for CRM is the same, whether it's aviation or medicine, is that CRM saves lives.
That's fantastic. Well, listen, thanks very much for joining us today, Phil. Hopefully we get to see you later on, have a bit of social drink later, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Thanks very much.
Glenn.